These lips get very dry. Those lips don't. So that is not one of my problems. That is not one of my symptoms. It's not yours. No. It's not yours. Not yours. Okay. However, I have a confession to make. I've been going through something, and at first I didn't understand anything about it. I hadn't even heard the term, and I'm talking about perimenopause. Perimenopause is the period of time in a woman's life right before menopause. And here's what's really shocking. It can start as young as 35 for some women and last into your 60s for others. And get this, you could be going through perimenopause or menopause right now and not even realize it. So if you're a woman experiencing any of these hormonal changes, hormonal weight gain, hot flashes, trouble sleeping, night sweats, mood swings, low energy, you are going to love what I have to say today. And look, I am not an expert, so I tracked down some super smart specialists to make this really easy. I cannot wait for you to meet a couple of my very favorite doctors in just a moment, because you need to know this. I know it can be vulnerable for anyone to discuss this, but I'm really excited to talk about it actually and get into details more about perimenopause and menopause and hormones. I mean, get this, we women are going to spend 40% of our lives dealing with hormone changes. 40%! That's over 1/3 of our lives. That's wild. And it's more time than we spend sleeping, eating, working, or playing. So chances are you'll be able to relate to this now or in the near future. Let's dive right in and get really real for a minute. You probably know that I have lived my life like an open book. I always have. It hasn't changed since I was 7 years old and started living a very public life. And let's face it, now in this day and age, we're all living a public life. So for better or worse, I share my most vulnerable moments. I put it all out there. I think it's for the better. So here it goes. How did this become the topic I knew I had to talk about? Well, last year at the end of March, I think it was a Monday, it was a day I was at work and I was doing the talk show I host. I was sitting down doing an interview with Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler. And we were having a great time. We were talking about doing a remake of a classic 70s sitcom together, Three's Company. I mean, how fun is that to think about? Who should play Janet? Who should play Chrissy? So fun, and then it happened. It was very sudden, like someone struck a matchstick inside my body, that intense heat radiating from my core. I was burning up, scorching, like my blood was literally boiling. I couldn't contain it, and then I just needed to let the heat out, so I ripped off my jacket. And per usual, I began to narrate what was happening in my head in real time. I blurted out, I think I'm having one of my first hot flashes. And I furiously fanned myself and I repeated it. I think I'm having my first hot flash. Now, of course, Jen and Adam were so cool about it, which was clearly exactly what I needed in that moment, a little support and laughter. One fixed my mic and rubbed my neck, and the other took my hand and joked about the mood swing that might be coming up next. And their compassion and humor was as overwhelming as the sweltering heat that was taking over my body. And then the audience clapped and it helped me feel better. And I said something like, I'm so glad that this is actually being documented, but once the camera stopped, my mind started reeling and I started second guessing myself. Why did I just share that? I was thinking, I'm in my late 40s, but this is seeming a lot like, is it menopause? My period had been irregular, and now it seemed like hot flashes were starting. I was exhausted, and I thought, is this the moment where I give myself over to it? And then I thought, what if I actually explored this a bit, talked about it more, learned about it more? Maybe I wasn't ready to just call it a day and self-diagnose. And that's why in those moments after having those hot flashes on national television, I took a deep breath and I made a vow. I was gonna find a way to triumph for not just myself, but for all of us. I would find and share information with other women. I would find and share solutions with them, like the amazing one that I discovered that has turned my entire life around. I would also bring perimenopause and menopause out of the shadows because I get it, I'm living it, And that's why I wanted to open up the conversation to all women without fear and embarrassment. We as women do not know how to make this sexy to men. I mean, there are a bunch of young men in this room. You probably want to throw yourselves out the window hearing this conversation, but guess what? Your mother, your sister, and your wife, everyone who's female in your life is going to end up dealing with this. And it isn't an easy thing to go through. And so we've got to change the conversation.
Yes, we did. I had early symptoms in my early 40s. So to start dating again when your body is so different and you feel so different, that was the hardest part. When I started dating, the first time I think I stayed over his house, I wet the bed.
Which wasn't pee,
No,
it was
just
sweat,
It was
right?
sweat. Your sheets are soaked and it's as if you wet the bed. The night sweats, I just want every woman to know it's that profound. A lot of times I wake up freezing because my sheets are so wet that then it's the coldness that wakes me up.
Is it true that you and your husband have to sleep with a pillow between you guys because of your night sweat?
My now husband, he's like, let's put a little pillow. When you're 20 and you're dating, you feel
cute and
sexy and all the things. And then fast forward, your body is very different. I'm also skinny fat.
I feel like men are looking for someone who is more womanly or have those, the ability to give children or to be hot and sexy. And I don't feel like when I'm going through the symptoms, I feel like I'm just tired. The ticking clock started really ticking in the past few years when the symptoms came, and I started to think to myself, I know I didn't want to have children, but now it's like a finalization of you cannot. Nature is saying this is the end.
There's a window and it's closing.
Yes, and to know that window is closing really makes me kind of have a lot of regret. And I'm like, what I should have, could have, would have, but that's where I am now. There's a finality to it, and it is really, it makes me sad. And
No. You've got hormones raging, you've got expectations.
And I've got to work through it all, having symptoms and trying to, thank you, you've got to clean me up.
It's just who I am, I can't be anyone else.
Everything is so intensified and amplified because I don't feel like myself.
You just don't know who you are. Like you feel like somebody just came in one night while you were sleeping and said, bye.
Yeah.
Now we're just going to replace you with somebody else. And I woke up and I'm like, I hate my life. I hate my relationship. I hate my job. I hate everything. I had a puppy. He ate my blush brush one day. I cried and it didn't stop. 6 months straight. I couldn't stop crying. So I called my mother and I'm like, what is happening to me?
What's so wild
Yeah.
is I am not having the same symptoms as you guys. I'm not having night sweats.
Oh, they're the worst.
But I have hot flashes, crazy hot flashes. And my period functions like I am always in the middle of wearing white pants at the most inopportune moment. I was with Jerry Hollowell, Ginger Spice, and we were doing an interview in my car, my minivan. And as I'm talking to her, and I am in a light pink suit, and I can feel the blood coming out everywhere. And I'm talking, and I wait until the interview is finished, and I go, Jerry, I think I just got my period, and like really badly. Like, I'm not gonna be able to get out of the car. The whole crew is there, waiting outside the car. I'm gonna ask for help to wrap something around me. So let's be able to turn to each other. Let's make this a national conversation. Let's make it sexy, safe, humorous, and normalize it so it doesn't feel like we're some dried up old, put us out to pasture bags because we're in menopause.
Amen.
Thank you for starting this conversation
Yes,
for
yes,
women.
amen.
And also
We
thank
need
you
this.
for being a young face in menopause.
Thank you.
Because as a woman who started menopause early, to see someone young, beautiful, vibrant, saying the word menopause is a first. And that is why part of the reason I felt so nutty and crazy, because I thought I should look really old if I'm going through menopause.
Yes.
So I'm happy that you're putting this gorgeous, sexy face.
Thank you. If only I could.
I mean, this is the new face of menopause, and I love it.
All of this has been the wake-up call that helped me stumble upon the one thing which I'm about to share. It's so simple that I now do it every day, and it has changed everything. Yeah, it can help ease hot flashes, mood swings, sleep issues, brain fog, hormonal weight gain, and even though I'm not there yet, dryness, and I'm about to show it to you. Oh, and wait until you hear the most shocking thing an OBGYN told me. I'll share that with you too. Now it's really important to me that we address the stigma around perimenopause and menopause. Why is it that a woman's worth is so wrapped up in our ability to reproduce? Or why is it that when our period stops, we often feel old and outdated or made to feel that way? Why are we made to feel inadequate or less than just because our hormones are fluctuating? Why are we silencing ourselves? Why don't we share more about our experiences? Why isn't this a global conversation? Well, someone who was willing to talk about it was Oprah Winfrey, and I was lucky enough to be asked by her to do a panel on the subject of menopause. And the night before we taped it, I went out on a date with this hot guy. Real mellow, casual date, someone I've known for quite a while, but he's hot. Anyway, I was telling him about how frickin' excited I was to be doing a panel with Oprah. And then here's how the scene plays out. He goes, "What will you be talking about?" And I'm like, I don't really want to talk to this hot guy about menopause, and he's gonna think I'm old and dusty, and that's not the image I want him to see me as. So I distract him with some bad acting and get myself out of that conversation because I'm saying in my head, I don't want to talk to you about this. I mean, we know I'm usually an open book, right? But at that moment, I didn't want to share because I wanted this hot guy to look at me in a certain way. And I think most women feel that way. So yeah, I get the stigma because I didn't want to frickin' deal with it myself. And I think one of the reasons that the stereotypes and myths are perpetuated is because of another problem I've faced. And maybe you have too. There's not enough information about perimenopause and menopause. And that word, it has baggage. It's not sexy. However, it's something real and it happens to every woman. And we need to be able to discuss it with someone knowledgeable. Who do we trust to tell what's going on in our bodies? Or if the symptoms come and go or come back again, where do we go? I admit that I rarely go to the doctor. I get busy. Life happens. I put myself on the back burner, and I'm trying to get better about that. But between my hot flashes and unpredictable periods, I didn't know what was going on with my body, with my hormones, all these changes I was experiencing. So I got proactive and I went to the doctor, and it was worse than I thought it could be. I mean, the doctor was very dismissive of me, and it was not a positive experience at all. I just left feeling confused and discouraged, and it was really disappointing. And the one time I tried, I was like, this is awful. I don't know what to do. And then I thought, do a lot of women feel like this? Is that the experience they have? Just utterly overwhelmed and lost and not getting advice from a professional that they need? So right now, let's do something about that. Let's get answers together from a different doctor, a doctor who is not only renowned in her field and a member of the National Association of Menopause Society. She's right in the middle of these hormone fluctuations herself. And most importantly, a doctor who is patient and thorough with everyone. I got really discouraged. And do you think that is other women's experience, or am I in an isolated one?
I have a feeling this is going to be a really deep conversation. So I'm going to take off this coat because I tend to find that this coat serves as a barrier for us, for most women. The experience that you had, unfortunately, is not an uncommon one. There is very little emphasis on menopausal health. It's very frustrating.
I mean, when you took your coat off, I really had a wow moment. But you're right, it has a professional aspect to it that feels a little doctor-patient rather than human to human, woman to woman.
Two women who are going through menopause.
Are you in peri or?
I am in menopause. I am fully, happily in the wonderful world of menopause.
What was your menopause journey?
As a whole OBGYN myself was waking up in the middle of the night in sweats, wondering, is the air conditioning turned on? What is happening? Having the menstrual irregularities, and it hit me, lady, you're going through menopause yourself. I'm diagnosing women every single day.
And yet somehow you miss the memo to yourself.
Right over my head.
See, I think that's so liberating to hear, because even you had to take some time to identify it for yourself. And I think the worst part really about it is not just the physical uncertainty, it's the mental.
So true. So true. I think what was helpful for me is that I knew the science.
What is the science?
Well, quick little science lesson.
Oh,
so
please.
when you started puberty, you had roughly 400,000 eggs. And each of those eggs was making 3 different hormones: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Every time you have a period, you lose an egg, you lose a little hormone. By the time we make it to perimenopause, that 400,000 is now about 400. So those levels have dropped. What happens during perimenopause is that they begin to shift. And when one shifts, kind of like that game Jenga, remember that game?
Yes.
If you moved one part, the structure became a little more unstable on the other end. So when those hormone levels begin to fall in one area, you have another area that has become affected. When those hormones change in that area, now this area has become affected. And eventually the entire system becomes a bit unstable and sometimes falls apart. That is when we start to begin to experience all of those telltale signs of perimenopause and menopause.
Not only is your body in chaos, but your mind is in chaos. You don't even know what's going on or why, which then makes you feel so confused and lost. So you physically don't feel great and you mentally feel not great.
I think if there is anything that women can take away is the fact that this is a true physiologic process, that it is not in your head. When I start thinking about all the numbers that are involved with the amount of hormones that we had in our bodies 20 years ago, and the fact that we only have a fraction of that amount now, it would make sense that all of our body systems would be affected. So it's not something that you're imagining.
What is something that we could say to ourselves as women when we're in perimenopause? What's a good piece of dialogue we could put in our heads?
All right, the change is happening. Our life being not a storybook, but a chapter book. And as we start moving into perimenopause, it's like, oh, where is the heroine going next?
I love that so much. I can't even take it. Where is the heroine going next? That's so wild. Okay. So I'm in perimenopause. I haven't gone past 6 months without then getting my period again. So is it true that worst case scenario, I'll be in this for another 6-7 years, but it could be another year?
I always like to say that entering this phase of life is not like a light switch going on. It's like a dimmer switch. So we don't just wake up one day in menopause. We actually begin the perimenopausal process about 7 to 10 years before menopause. And that is when we start having menstrual irregularities, but we can't really call it menopause until we've gone 12 full months without a period.
There are some women who need hormones. There are some that don't. How do we know when, who, how, or why? What is the thought on hormone therapy? What's your opinion?
I think for most physicians, that is very simple to just replace what is missing instead of targeting what is the effect of what is missing. Natural solutions can absolutely work. I have seen supplements work tremendously because, again, everyone's hormone levels are a little off. It took me having to go through menopause myself to really understand the import and really the dearth of information that's out there. And there are many resources. I have a PhD as well as a medical degree. I know that there is science, technology, information out there available to help us.
I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't ready for hormones yet. So I decided to look for a naturopathic doctor, a doctor trained to go beyond the symptoms to get to the root of it all with natural methods. And I found someone amazing, someone that I now have a serious girl crush on. Her name is Dr. Kellyanne Petrucci, and this woman is a big frickin' deal because you've probably seen her on TV before. Dr. Kellyanne has been helping people transform their bodies for years through her groundbreaking and natural techniques. A renowned expert in health and nutrition who has changed hundreds of thousands of women's lives.
Kristen lost an unbelievable amount of weight. We're talking 100 pounds.
This is such a lock and key. I want everyone to hear what I'm saying so loud and so clear.
You see this? This is your intestines. It's this long.
There's studies that are done that show you'll eat 20% less calories all day long.
It's almost like you've cracked the code, right?
And now Dr. Kellyanne is on a new mission. She's empowering women to take control of balancing their hormones, and I am obsessed, especially after trying something life-changing that she introduced me to. So I furiously sent Dr. Kellyanne this video. Hi, Dr. Kellyanne. I got my period again. Dr. Kellyanne, I'd like to speak to you. I am having insanely incredible results. I notice a difference and I feel it. My body's like functioning again, where it had just come to a complete standstill. So we have a lot of runway ahead of us, which is great. I would love to do anything I can to have any semblance of being a part of anything positive for people. That's really all I ever want to do. Anyway, this is a very long message and I'm so sorry that it is this long, but I'm excited to talk to you and maybe we can have everybody, share information and get us together. I'm so on board. So I can't wait to talk to you. And guess what? I still can't believe it, but she actually responded to my video. You're real. You're real. I love you. I got to meet Dr. Kellyanne Petrucci. You changed the world, honestly.
Thank you.
You brought to the forefront the bone broth movement when it was non-existent.
And I did the same thing with hormones.
And now we have this. I am not good at pretending. I don't even know how I was an actor. So I have to really, really believe in something in order to get behind it. I start taking your supplements and my body changed. I felt calmer. Everything changed. And after 3 months, I was like, this is a miracle and it's natural and I feel so good. And whatever's happening, I feel like I can handle it and I've gotten my power back and I just feel great.
I'm not surprised.
What is it? Why do I feel so good?
So I found this supplement called Chromax, which is 15 times the absorption rate as regular chromium. Think of Chromax as the body's best friend to combat hormonal weight gain. Because let's face it, one of the first things that happens when your hormones become imbalanced is women tend to gain weight and your metabolism for sugar goes crazy. And this is what this ingredient helps fix. It contains the mineral chromium, which is vital for your metabolism. Well, that means Chromax helps get that hormonal weight gain under control and helps you manage cravings. So you can start looking better and feeling better and even drop a little bit of weight so you get that old body back and that energy back. The second ingredient is MS10, a unique proprietary blend of Korean thistle and thyme. Now you may not know this, but each hormone has a single hormone receptor type in the body. MS10 supports the strong relationship between estrogen and estrogen receptors, so communication is strong. Well, that means less hormonal weight gain, less moodiness. Plus, when this enters a woman's body, it helps bone health get stronger. And this can help you avoid all of the things we encounter when we get older, including brittle bones.
Women deserve this. Every human deserves this.
I know how much you love flowers, Drew. This third ingredient is saffron. This is a spice from a flower in Spain, but interestingly though, it's the world's most expensive spice, and for a good reason. More and more clinical studies are showing that saffron can support feel-good neurotransmitters in your body like dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Well, that means the blues or moodiness or nervousness you're feeling during perimenopause and menopause can begin to ease. So you can start to feel happier and lighter and enjoy the company of others more. And this also means, dare I say, you wake up a little more aroused.
I'm never going to look at saffron the same way again. Those little red strands,
And
God bless them.
The fourth are targeted probiotics. This ingredient is truly unique and groundbreaking because research now shows that when gut health is poor, hormones can become unbalanced. Now, you've heard of good and bad bacteria, I'm sure.
The microbiome.
The microbiome. Woo!
Yay, okay, good. I got that right. That's nice. I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm putting myself out there right now. Microbiome?
Well, now I want to tell you about a specialized group of good bacteria that are collectively referred to as estrobolome. Estrobolome is a collection of bacteria in the gut which can metabolize the estrogen circulating in the body. So in other words, if you don't have enough of certain types of bacteria in your estrobolome, your estrogen levels may not be optimal, and you could experience more significant signs of perimenopause and menopause, which is why focusing on the right probiotics to support bacteria, to support your hormones, is so important.
It's so clear how much you care about women.
Well, individually, each of these ingredients can do wonders to ease perimenopause and menopause, but together they're a powerhouse, a formidable phenomenon to balance your hormones, which is why it was so important to me that they all be in one small, easy to swallow capsule. However, making that happen, as you can imagine, wasn't easy. At first, I was told it couldn't be done. The first prototypes were giant horse pills that no one could get down, and the next were awful tasting liquids that I wouldn't put my name on. Still, we didn't give up. My team spent countless hours in the lab, late nights, tons of trials, a few tears, and finally, we did it. We managed to get all of those ingredients together for that formidable phenomenon into one super easy to swallow tiny capsule.
One pill a day, thank you.
Oh, that was so important to me. No fillers, no sugars, no additives, no anything, just pure, raw, good materials that are the best of the best.
One and done.
It's called Dr. Kellyanne and Me Peri Plus Menopause. If you're a woman going through any of this, perimenopause or menopause or hormonal changes, this was created for you.
It is simplified, it's doable, it's powerful, it's impactful, it's real, it works. I didn't become a part of your team and family until I had been on this for months, and I felt such a difference. I know that you did a group with women 30 to 60 in age and a whole study with them.
I lost 5 pounds in my middle, which is my trouble area.
7 to 10 days, I started noticing a difference. I used to experience like more of a short temper or easily agitated and annoyed by certain things. I've definitely noticed more calm and just an overall better feeling.
I was really struggling with hot flashes. It was so intense. It was like uncontrollable. And now I honestly do not have that.
Definitely feeling more myself. Actually, even had a few people say to me, you look like you lost weight.
Most importantly, now that we have literally explained the phenomenon that you've created, where do we get it?
I'm going to give everyone an exclusive opportunity to try Dr. Kellyanne and Me Peri Plus Menopause for Drew Barrymore special introductory price. This is for new customers like you to be able to get this groundbreaking solution right now at an incredible discount. So no matter if you're just starting on your journey or if you've reached menopause and haven't had a period for years, my hormone-free, scientifically researched Dr. Kellyanne and Me Peri Plus Menopause can work for you. And I want this to be more than just one little pill you pop every morning. I want you to get help for the things you care about most. Every day, I get stopped by women on the street. Every day. And my inbox is flooded with questions about how to lose weight, gain energy, look better, and feel better. And the answer is almost always the same. Balance your hormones. That's because these little chemical messengers are linked to everything: your sex drive, the thickness of your hair, how you sleep at night and feel when you wake up in the morning. So, to help you find complete hormonal harmony, I've created some fun little bonus videos filled with answers to all of your questions. Valued at $199, today they can all be yours for free. I'll tell you how in just a sec. I made these bonus videos so you can watch or listen on your phone whenever, wherever. Grocery shopping tips, blood sugar basics, sex hormones, it's all in here to help you get your hormones balanced. And it's all free when you say yes to trying my new easy to swallow Peri plus Menopause capsule. And that's not the only free gift you'll receive for sticking around with Drew and I today. I'll email you my top 25 recipes. I've included my favorite dessert, which I serve at every dinner party, my most indulgent comfort food, and my get up and go breakfast. And I'm not asking you to give up what you love. I'm asking you to add amazing foods your body will love. And here's the best part. You'd think this would be all incredibly expensive. However, it was important for Drew and me to create this package at a price that was affordable. That's why when you order Dr. Kellyanne and me Peri plus Menopause through this presentation right now, the same formula Drew's been using for months that has turned her health completely around, you won't pay $200 or even $100. You get all of this for just $69. That's just $2 and some change a day. So act now. For just $69 today, you'll receive a bottle of Dr. Kellyanne and me Peri plus Menopause, a slew of videos that you can watch or listen to maximize your results, and 25 of my favorite recipes. So go ahead, click the button below to feel the relief that women all over the world are already experiencing.
My hot flashes have improved 100%.
My pants are a little bit looser around my thighs.
I definitely have more energy that I can get all of my tasks done around the home.
And because Drew called me wishing for more pills when her bottle ran out, I put together some options to get a few months' supply up front and save. So when you choose a 3-month supply today, you'll save 15%. When you choose a 6-month supply today, you'll save 20%. I stand by my products and offer a 30-day satisfaction guarantee return policy, even if you try this for 30 days, watch every video, try every recipe, even if you simply don't like the shape of the bottle, for any reason you're not satisfied, I'll give you a refund, no questions asked.
I'm still so blown away by this natural solution by Dr. Kellyanne. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm about positive energy and optimism, but in a very real way. So will you try something with me? I just want you to close your eyes. Take a second. Take a deep breath. It's 7 days from when you started. You took your easy to swallow pretty little purple pill in its beautiful bottle with some water. You looked in the mirror and thought, I look more vibrant. You had more energy. You actually said out loud, I'm looking younger. I'm feeling sexier. Now it's 14 days from the day you started. Remember you got dressed and felt good about the way you looked in your clothes? You didn't feel lost in your closet? Your friends are asking you questions. Remember the one you got yesterday mentioning how much lighter and healthier you looked? You noticed when you got up this morning, you were kind of in the mood. Dare I say, a little aroused? Now, keep your eyes closed because we're now 21 days from when we started and you can't remember the last time you had a hot flash. When was the last time you woke up in the middle of the night sweating? Can you remember? Forgetting that feels really great, doesn't it? Now let's go way further. It's 2 months from now. You feel healthier and happier. You feel like the best version of you. Your energy is soaring and your mental clarity is sharper than it's been in a long time. Seriously, you feel like you can think straight. You feel pretty awesome, actually. And you kind of want to call me up and say, Drew, you were right. That never happens to me, so I'll take it. Okay, open your eyes. Feels good, right? Seriously. I love you, Dr. Kellyanne. You have changed my life. And I believe Dr. Kellyanne and me, Peri plus Menopause, can change your life too, because we are in this together. And I want to make this personal. It's the only way I know how to do things. Anyone who finds themselves here, I am doing this with you and for you. Thank you for hanging out and giving your time, because my real hope is that it works for you the way it has worked for me.